Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. I want to do just a craft with me today. I'm working on a sewing themed journal. It's something that I've wanted to do for ages and I've just started it, but I want to bring you along for a few things that I want to do with it. So I just want to make a few bits and bobs to go into it. So at this stage, all I've done is I've started the cover. And I've got an old sewing pattern. This will be sealed later on. At the moment, it's just stuck down to a chipboard cover that I've made for it. I've done a few pages for some signatures just out of old sewing books and things like that, just so that I can get an idea of the size that I wanted. So I made the cover first, as in just this part. This hasn't been touched yet. And then made just a couple of little signatures they'll be added to, just so I can get an idea of the size of the signatures for when I've got it completed. That's the reason it's been done like this. Quite often I'll do signatures and then I'll make a cover for it, or I'll make a cover of, start a cover and then do signatures. So it just depends on which way I'm going. This time I've done the cover first because I had to work with the size I had for the old pattern. And so I've done a couple of these, but I want to make some bits and bobs to go into it. Now, I was lucky enough a couple of weeks ago to come across this wonderful book, which you can see I've been having a ball with, in a bargain bin of $1. Really happy. And it was British textiles from 1700 to the present. And it's just full of these beautiful, beautiful textile pictures. And they're just great because some of them, yes, look like just pictures. Some of them actually look like textiles, so that you can see all the slubs in where it's woven and all the rest. It's just an awesome book. But because there's different sizes and everything else, I get to have lots of fun with it. I'm just going to sit this one on the floor because it's quite heavy, so excuse the bash. There it goes. So a couple of things I want to make with it first. I want to make some envelopes. Love my envelopes. And I want to make envelopes that I can have as a signature, as a page in a signature. So these are a couple of the ones that I've pulled out that are full sheets, because that's what I want. I love this. If I bring that up close, so you can actually see all the woven sections. So it really looks like textile. That's got to go back into that one as well. Some of these other larger ones, not as much, but I've got some worded ones there that I can pull out. But some of them are just gorgeous, and I love them. Some of them look like old wallpapers that may go into other journals, not necessarily sewing themed journals. But what we're going to do, so I'm going to pull out a couple of these. So this one looks like actual textile. I'm going to just tear that one out so that I've got that and I've got that. And let's have a look at some of these others. So look at that. Love that. And I really love that. Not overly keen on the back of them. Not overly keen on the back of that one either. So what I'm going to do is, let's start with this one. And to start with, I'm just going to trim off the white edges. Now, if you've got, you can tell I was working here earlier. I've lost my knife. If you've got an envelope punch board, all good. You can sit it down and make envelopes till the cows come home. If you don't freak, because they can be quite expensive. But you don't necessarily need one. Yes, it may take you a little bit longer to create an envelope, but not that much. So all I'm doing at this point is taking the white away. So that one and that one. And what you need to do is start with a square. The easiest way to do this is with a square. So because this one is, let's have a look. I've got 8.5 inches. So I'm going to do this at 8.5 inches both ways. That'll give me that bit. If I go that bit, I like that section better. So I'm going to chop off this bottom section. I'll go down that way, and then I don't have to worry about rubbing out my pencil lines, and it might be a bit easier to see. So if I go down to 8.5 inches, there, down here, if you've got a trimmer, use your trimmer. Again, makes it a little bit quicker. And there, and I'll trim that back. So I'm going to there and to there. Now I can use that as something else as well. So here's my square. Simple as that. What I want to do is we want the center point. So you can either do this, make a little crease, or the easiest way to do it, sit your ruler down, go from corner to corner, up there and up there, and put a pencil line. Okay, sometimes it's harder to see that pencil line depending on what's on the back. This one's not too bad on the back. And down there. So now what I've got is my little cross in here. Does that make sense? Now this one I don't reckon I'll need to do an inner for because I've got all this. So we'll have a look. So if I sit this down, I'm going to take my right corner over to that point and just give it a little crease. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the left corner. And down. I'll give these a good crease in a moment with my actual bone scorer. I'm going to sit this on here. Make sure it's nice and straight. Let's have a look and see how I've gone with those creases. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. What we want to do is lift this one up, which is the bottom section. But we want to lift it so that, not just here, because if I bend this here, where these two come down, all I'm going to do is just make a little point in there. It'll just sit in there, and that's not what we want. So we want to actually take it just a little bit further up. Again, you can measure it and all the rest. I still tend to make do with my grid. I'm going to sit that on there, sit that on there. I'm running this down this line, and I'm going to choose a line which is about there. Fold that bit up, make that nice and even. Fold that one to the same line. Give him a crease. Now I will crease these with my bone scorers. Okay, so I'm going to just crease this one down. I'll crease this one down. Crease this one, which is my bottom edge. And this is my top flap. Now, my journal that I'm doing, my pages now measure. I'll pull this one out. I think they're about 7 inches in height, or a bit over, 8 inches in height, and around about 5, so up to 5 inches in length. So that's okay. That's going to take that up to there. So this one's going to be fine, and it'll fit in there. What I'm going to do is the same as I did down the bottom, and I'm going to actually take it up that section as well. Is that even? It's not looking like it, is it? There it is. Right, so I'm going to come down to about this line. Okay. Before I crease that too much, I'm going to just double check. 5, I'm going to come down a little bit further. Right. Make sure that's nice and even. So I can make this as small as I want this way for my height. This is my width. This is my height. Like so. Give that one a good crease. So technically, here's my envelope. Ew, hasn't that come out a treat? But what I like to do with my envelopes is use them as a flap in my signature so that it'll tuck into this bit. So if I've got a larger area here, it means that I've got something tangible to work on here as well, on both sides. And yes, this has given me a nice section on the inside. If it's just plain writing on the inside, then I will quite often cover them with a digital printout or something like that. So something that's been done in copy paper and not too heavy. So I wouldn't use cardstock or something like that again, or scrapbook paper, which is fairly thick as well. I will use something that I've printed out on copy paper or stamped over on copy paper, tea-dyed, coffee-dyed, stamped on, made a background and popped that in there. So that's what I'll have in there. And then on the other side, when you get to the other end, this will be my pocket. To make this a full envelope, again, I'm going to sit this on my grid so it's nice and straight. And I want this little bit to come down here. So what I'm going to do is sit my ruler on there so I'm nice and straight again, going up to there, which is going to about those two. And I'm actually going to turn it round, and then I can see where I'm going. Okay, so if I take that to there, it needs to come up just a little bit higher to about that bit. I'm just going to bend that back so that I can see where it is, and then I'm going to actually chop it off. So I'm laying this fold on my grid, put that down there, and I'm just going to chop that off. You can tear it off, you can chop it off, you can do whatever, but just so that it is then a flat edge, so that when this folds up, it sits like that. Okay, the only other thing we want to do is chop out these corners because they're creating bulk down here. So if we open it back out, and it's these little sections in here. As I said before, if you've got an envelope punch board, it'll do it all for you. If you don't, you don't need to freak, and you can do it this way. So what we're going to do is take out these corners. If I've got a steady hand, that one. And with this one, as it's in here, and you won't see it, I'm actually going to take it just above that fold line so that there's less bulk in there again. So I'm going to put it on an angle and take it down to that corner. I'm going to do that on this side as well. So this one needs to be nice and straight. And this one will go up on an angle, like so. So that when they fold in there now, sits nice and flat and there's no bulk in there. We want to do the same with these ones, but with these ones, so if I cut my nice flat edge there and my nice flat edge down on that one, where these ones go round, what I'd like to do is to round them just a little bit, okay, so that this is where the fold is, and I'm just going to round that back down there. So I'm just going to follow around there. If you need to rub out your pencil lines afterwards, you can rub out your pencil lines. So now what it's got is that. If you're concerned with how you've drawn this side as well, you can always put this guy back in like that and do the same one on the other side. Okay, so I've flipped that over so it's now a mirror image. Does that make sense? Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to come out as a mirror image. And I'm much happier just drawing a curve like so. Much happier doing that. But you do have that if you're worried about your curve not being matchy-matchy. Right, so there's these ones. This one goes up there. If you're not putting a backing in it, you will need to rub out your pencil lines. And I've got my rubber here. I have, because I nicked it and it was out in the kitchen and I put it back. I don't know where I've put it back to. We might have to get back to that one later on. And it's only really that one, so I can do that later. Now, to adhere this down, all you're going to need, so on this bit, if it comes out, I had it working before. Let's have a look on a piece of scrap. There it is. So we want to go this one up to that edge, as close as you can to that edge. Same with the other side. Down. I love books like this. I was so excited when I found it. And then we're going to come up here, both sides. We're going to go to the straight edge because we know that doesn't go past these ones because we trimmed it to size. That one will go straight down there and down there. Right, that can all be stuck down now. That's all there is to stick this one down. Fold that over, go down. Just careful you haven't popped too much glue on there. That's going to ooze out everywhere. And again, just double check that it hasn't oozed out into the inside. That's looking pretty good. I tend to pick that bit up and just give those bits a good squeeze until it's held on. So there's our envelope. Nice and quick and easy. That one doesn't even need inking or anything like that. And I'm happy with that. And that will fit into that, like so. And then on the other side, of course, I've now got a pocket sitting in there. But it's just beautiful because you can see the texture lines to it. So that's that one I want to do. One of the other things I like to do with these is some of these smaller sections, like, let's have a look, like these. Oh, that one's nice too. Hang on. Now all I can find are large ones. Let's have a look. So see how there's these sorts of ones? I like these because what I'll do with these, and I've started already because that's what I was doing. Oh, look, these sorts of things. Beautiful. And if you've been with me for any length of time, apart from envelopes and book pages, my other favourite is manila folders because I can do so much with them. So I've got a manila folder here that I've been sticking a few of these on. So that was the size of these panels. I've just cut them out. I've rounded the corners and just adhered them onto this. So from that, I'm going to just trim them down. I'm going to give them just a little bit of a border because I think they look quite nice with that. That is up to you. You can trim them to the exact size of the book page if you want. I like to give them a little bit of a border and then I like to decorate them. So I'm just going around, and it would be only a couple of mil. I don't reckon it would be even 1/8 of an inch. I don't know, 2-3 mil, something like that. So I'm just going to take that one out and along there. So we'll do just one of these, and I'll show you what I mean. If I've actually taken it out properly. Gosh, I need a new blade. So I'm just running that lightly now down that cut line to finish him off. There it is. Right, so they're all there to do. So that's this one. I'm going to chop my corners so that they match. Right, this one I'm going to ink up. Because I've got the manila folder there, I want that just edged a little bit. With this book page as well, it is slightly glossy. It's got a slight sheen to it. I wouldn't call it necessarily glossy, but it has that slight sheen. So Distress ink, Distress oxide are not going to stay on it. They will just keep smudging. They won't dry properly. They might over quite a long time, but just while you're trying to work on it, they're not going to dry in time. So, which is why I'm going around with where the manila folder is, and that's quite often why I like to do that manila folder edging, so that I can do that. So technically I've now got a journal card, which I can leave like that, but I'm thinking I might move that, and I might grab that, and I'll grab some, what do I want? What colour do I want? Hang on a moment, I'm just grabbing I don't really want black. What have I got in these pinky colours? I'm sure they're the same colour. No, one's slightly darker than the other. So we might pull one out. That pink, I think, might just fade away. Let's pull them out and have a look. That one works all right. I do like that pink on there, though. I'm going to actually go with the pink so that it's there, but it's not there, if that makes sense. Right. So I want that up in the corner because I want to hang a charm from it. So it's not necessarily dead smack in the middle, which makes a tag as such. I'm going to have it as an option type thing for in the corner. I don't want to go too far in because I do want to have a not an eyelet, a jump ring attached to it. So that's going to be right in the up there, so a jump ring can hang off that one. Turn it around, Kylie. Cool. So that's up there like that. I'm going to pop a jump ring on there, just which I didn't get out, so bear with me a second. I'll grab those. That's your jump rings and bits and bobs and all the rest. All right, jump rings. So I've got some bigger ones here, and I can use those. Let's grab some of these. Where are my other ones? My other ones are in the lounge room where I've been disassembling broken jewellery. So let's have a look at these. Look, these are all brands. There are so many different brands in here, it's not funny. So that brand should do it. Let's see if I can get these round ones to work for it. I'll just open out that jump ring. Yep, that will work a treat. And then as I go, so that it's already, the jump ring is on there. And then when I'm actually decorating the full journal, I can then add some chain and some charms to that. But it's ready then to go. So I like to sit back and do a couple of different things and work out, yes, I like these sorts of things, and I'll do some of these and that. I like some of those envelopes. I like envelopes everywhere. So that's just not saying anything really, is it? So I'll have the envelopes in there. I'll have those sorts of ones in there. And the other thing I'll have in there is, and I'll see if I can find that because I cut those out. I did. I did cut them out. I had them sitting here. And I've moved it. How could I have moved it? So this is because I came home from work and started doing this and then thought, oh no, bring you guys along. Here we go. I thought I'll bring you guys along and show you a few other different bits and pieces with our book pages, and have been doing other things and then come back. Right, so here's another one of these. And this time what I've done is left part of the white border that's there. This one, of course, has something again on the other side, which works a treat. So this time I'm going to use my scoreboard because it's just a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. And what I want to do is I want to score right at the edge where each of these white sections then start. So I don't want to go too heavy because it is only paper and it's fairly thin. So you'll notice that this side's got a really nice big wide one. This one doesn't because that's where the next picture was. So we'll work with what we've got. That will work, and I've taken it just a little bit further in. And then for this one, do the same thing. Sit it on there so that it's nice and straight. Just measuring it up with this because it's easier to see this side than what it is the other side. Right. And now I'm just going to give them a little bit of a crease. I'm just going to push them down with my fingers to start with. Now our little one on the other side, we may need to use the ruler with, just to make sure that it will bend over, because there's not that much there. We'll see how we go. So I'm just bending this one towards me. Yeah, no, that's looking pretty good. I'm just pushing that down bit by bit, and I'm going to sit it that way to crease that down with my bone scorer so that it doesn't want to move, and I'm just going to work my way along it. There we go, so that it's ended up still nice and straight. So what I've done is I've left that on there just to give it some extra oomph. So I'm going to fold this up, and this one's going to make just a little pocket. So I'm just working out how tall I want it, or how long I want it. And I'm just going to sit it back on my grid. I'm thinking about that height. Give that a crease down there. I'm very much a grid girl. All right, so that will just go straight down there like that. And we're just going to fold that up. And then once I've got it there, I can give that a good crease. Right, so now what we want to do is we're going to cut out this section. Okay, so we're going to open this bit out and cut out this full section. Now you can do that with your scissors, knife, etc. You know the deal by now. I'm just going to go there, down to that one. Make sure it's nice and straight. All right. That's that. Because I want them on that one. Now, if you cut them as in this section out and then a little bit up there, you don't end up with the white on the inside. But just for ease, if you're just learning, I just want to show you this way because it's a good way to start. Taking that one across there as well. I might trim a little bit more of that one out in a minute. Folding that over, folding that over, folding that over. We need to take out these, and we can just take those ones out on that angle and miter those corners, even though they're completely different sizes. That's going to go up like that, okay? And the only reason that that's there, and I know it looks like the bottom of a pocket, the reason that's there is I'm going to glue it all down, and it gives it just that extra strength for when we're popping things in. This side, I'm going to fold over again. Now, that is so not straight. I can see that from here. Look. And I just swizzle that over that way and swizzle that over that way. And we're just going to give this a little bit more of a crease and try and make this guy a little bit straighter. The glue will help it. I'm going to sit this here. So that's looking a little bit better, and I want this to go just a little bit higher so that there's a gap there when this folds. This one's going to fold down. Okay, like so. So now we just need to give it the extras. So, first things first, this one is going to be stuck down here, okay? And we can just do that with a glue stick. That's not a problem at all. I'm just going to grab some paper. Right. Down along there, down along there, and that one can be just stuck straight down. Okay, just like that. This side, which is our little flap, I'm actually going to, and because it's on the inside as well, I don't have to worry about putting anything in there. And I'm going to round the corners on that. So that's going to sit like that. That one's going to sit like that. And the other thing I want is I want a thumb notch in here. Now, ooh, good English there, Kylie. This ends up a bit over 4 inches or about 11 centimetres, I reckon. 10.5 centimetres. So it's still a fairly good size. And I need to be able to get my thumb in. So I like to use the ovals. I've got that size. Pretty good. Or I've got that size, which is a bit bigger. I think I might go that size. So I'm going to go about halfway in and even it up. Like so. Okay, and you can see that that's still on there, and it gives all that just a little bit more, and that's why we glued the whole thing. So I tend to go with the ovals more than the circles to give me my thumb notches, and then I've got that there. Now, as I said before, if you want to ink these up, because they're slightly sheened, you can either pop a layer of gesso, just a light wash, which will pick up and hold on to some of the ink that you then put on. Or what I tend to do, I'll just move some of my rubbish, and I'll get out my permanent ink, which is my archival, and a little blending brush. And I'll just pick it up and I'll start on my glass mat, and I'm just going on the edges because this will adhere to it. The ink of this one will adhere to that paper. It'll take a little bit of time, not that much time, but it will take a little bit of time to dry. If you put too much on, you can very quickly wipe it off with a cloth. But all I'm doing is little circles with these ones, starting on my glass mat each time, which is why I like my glass mat, because they're easier to clean up, and I find the brush smooths into it a bit better. I'll wipe that, and then I'm going to turn it over because I want to do these edges as well. So you can see how it's just got that faded edge to it now. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to do up along here and that one. Okay, and that one, of course, needs the front of that because we did the back of that one. We need the front of that one done so that it all matches in with it. Just like that. How easy are they? So easy. And I like to have these sorts of things done and sitting to the side, ready to go. Look at that. That's just so cute. So cute. So I'm just going to adhere that and that. If you want, you can trim a little bit off that one. I'm thinking I'm so good with my words tonight. What did I just do with that? It's bright orange. I can't miss it. There it is. So I'm just going to take a snip off that one. So that sits in there, that sits in there, and that will glue down into that. Find this glue, not my glue stick glue. I'll use this one, if it'll come out. Come on, here it comes. So we want to go close to the edges, both sides. And this side, I'm actually going to trim a little bit more off that edge. You can see where it's starting to curl up a little bit. That's a telltale sign that you need to just trim a little bit more off it. That'll go this side as well. Right up the edge, without putting too much on that it squishes into here and closes your pocket shut type thing. Right. And there we go. Just manoeuvring that now. And there's that one. Isn't that dainty and sweet? I love that the pattern on that. And yeah, they're all from this book. So we've got that. And that sort of thing needs some other bits and bobs on it. Bits and bobs. I've got, and I bought those out. I did bring them over, and what did I do with them? I think they may be there. I have got some of my originals that I've scanned and done into a sheet for this journal, and I think they're actually in the container. Hang on a moment. I'm just going to pop you down for a second. Right. So, this is my container of bits and bobs for this journal. Sit you there. So you can see I've done other ones of those. This one that's still waiting. Oh, he's still waiting to be finished. So what I'm going to do with that one is I will do the inside bit that we were talking about a moment ago. There's a longer one. Now, bear with me, and in here, I do love this book. Look at some of these beautiful patterns. Somewhere in here should be where I scanned off. Doesn't look like it, does it? Ah, yes, here they are. Right. Oh, sit you there. So I have scanned and done up. These are my original shonky ones. Some stuff from my originals from my collection for my sewing journal. And I've got a couple of different needle books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this large needle book. I will pop this sheet up on my Ko-fi site as a freebie. If anybody else is out there doing a sewing journal and you want to copy it all out. This is done with copy paper, and there we go. This is done with presentation paper. So you can see that there's a little bit of difference with the colour. Not that much with any of these. Even that. So this is the copy paper. This is the presentation paper. It brings a little bit more colour up when you copy them out. But all in all of these have been fairly good, no matter which one I've printed them out on. Just checking that. So yes, so I will have those on my Ko-fi shop, or in my Ko-fi shop, so that you can print that out if you're doing a sewing journal. Right, so I'll show you what it was I was talking about this. And then we better toddle. What is it? Yes. Right, so this is one just the same as the one that we've just done. Okay, so there he all is. This one I've done as a... what size square was this one? Let's have a look. This one was only a 7-inch square. So I think he ends up making a 3 by 4, I think. 4 by 5, this one ends up being. So I've got to that point. You can see where I'd been making marks through here. This is where it's going to sit in. But I've got this stark white. I'm not into the stark white. You should know that by now. So I've got a book of just printed digitals that are just odd ones that I use for backgrounds. So I've got numerous ones in here of all different sorts and sizes. Can't tell you where... I know that one's Tracy Foxy Creative or whatever it is. But I've got all sorts of ones in here from all sorts of places. But they just give me something to use as backgrounds when I'm just looking for something neutral, more or less, that's going to go with things, just to make an inside. Oh, so even that would be very nice on the inside of that, wouldn't it? Let's go that one. Right, we'll go that one. And I don't necessarily have lots of them printed out. I'll print 1 or 2 out. When they've gone, there's usually something else that I've found or come across that takes its place. So what I want is something that's going to sit in here. So it only needs to go to down here. So what I'm going to need to start with is I'm going to need to have a piece that's at least 6 inches in length. It doesn't need to come all the way down. You can if you want, but remember it adds bulk. Nobody's going to see it. You're wasting paper. Because let's face it, we need to hoard so much paper, don't we? I like how it goes that way. So I'm just going to trim these guys off. And I'm just going to be lazy and tear them. Sometimes it's good to be lazy. Sometimes not so much. Right. So that's that size. We need it just a little bit smaller than this. And we said that this one was, what, not quite 5 inches. We go that way. 12.5 centimetres. We need to make it a little bit smaller so that it doesn't foul these. Okay, so I haven't even rounded these ones. We'll see how we go, whether I round them or not. So we're going to take that one across to just under 12.5 centimetres. Was it 12.5 I said? Yep. So let's go there. Set you there. We can always take more off if we need to. Let's see how that goes sitting in there. If I sit that down, and can I fold those over it without them bulking up? This is why we want to do this before we glue it. So you'll see that they are just slightly bulky, but they're fine. But there's just a little bit of a tip here and here. Okay, this is going to go up to there. I need better take that top section off, hadn't I? We won't tear that because I'm just going to kill it, aren't I? Some days I can tear beautifully. Other days I just need to give it up as a joke. Right. So what I'm actually going to do, yeah, see, I can, I'll sit you straight maybe. Let's bring this one back over. Up to there. Needs to cover that bit. That's fairly good. It's that bit that Right. So what I'm going to do is get my little ink pad out again. This one and this one. And I'm actually just going to cover that side, where that white is. Like so. Okay? Because what that'll do is take your eye away from where it might be missing. And so now when I put it in, let's go there. I can see where that is. Let's go there. So see how it's kind of blended it in now, and you can't actually see where that white was? Makes sense? Right. So this one can go to about there. And I don't think I need more than that, do we? So I'm just going to put a pencil mark across there very lightly. And this is what I'm going to ink up. Okay? So I'll grab my scrap paper again. And I'm going to ink all of this up. I'm actually going to cut that bit off first, because I don't need that sitting in there. Right. That's my section that's going in. We're just going to ink all this. Ink. No, we're not. What are we doing? We're gluing. Don't go onto these, because you don't want those gluified. Is that a word? Because they'll just attach to the inside of your envelope. So just pop that on there. We're just going down to here. Like so. Same on your other side. And I'm going to get rid of that bit. Like that. And I'm just going to go straight up there. There we go. That was my top section. It'll give me time to manoeuvre. I'm going right up to there. I just want to straighten this out as I go. How's that? That looks pretty good. And we will... I'll grab the other one, because I can't find my normal one. All right, now up through there. And now I'm going to get my cloth, which I've set there. And I'm just going to wipe these. And I can wipe these, because that is actually the good thing about satiny, glossy papers. It will wipe off. But we just want to make sure that it's completely dry before we then, you know, go to close it. So while we're waiting, we can trim this section off. Again, you can do it with your scissors, your blade. I'm going to do it with scissors, and I'm going to do it with the big scissors, because I find that if the glue is still slightly wet, when you go to do it with the blade, it might catch. So we'll just follow that straight through with the scissors. And because it's only been done with copy paper, it won't add all that bulk. Right, those ones there, because you never know, I might use them on something. All right, so now we've got that. I'm feeling that. That's not sticky at all. That's that, that's that. And now we want to crease where that crease is again. I find it's easier just to sit my ruler there and just keep bending it. The crease was already in the top layer. I might need to put some more glue on that edge. The crease was already in that top layer, so all I'm doing is manoeuvring that. I'm going to sit you down, and now we'll get the bone folder again and give that a really nice crease. what I've got is that now on the inside. Doesn't that change the look of them? How easy. It's not all the way through it. Doesn't need to be all the way through it. Because there's your envelope. And you can see that it's in there. It's just such an awesome way to finish off your envelopes so that they look really professional and, well, for lack of a better word, store-bought. But it just gives them that added extra. Now, as you can see, this is me. I'm inking that. But what I also want to do is fold that back on itself, that section, and I want to ink along there because I want this to look like it's an older envelope, not brand new. So I want it to look as though it's had, you know, things popped in and out of there all the time. So you can see that it's now got this well-worn look going through here. Again, that's just a me thing. And I think I might just leave these ones as that. I really like this. I love this paper. This is out of this book as well. So what I'm going to do is we'll glue this one down. And then I better let you go. Oh, yeah, 51 minutes. Hadn't that gone fast? This was my craft with me. So I'm going to there. So, yes, we didn't get much crafting done, did we? We had a good yak. So that's always good. And then I think I better go have some tea. Starting to get hungry. Right. And that. Right on the edge, as I said before. And then the same with this one, which is our bottom flap. So that'll just go to the edge bit here. And then the same down your other side. And down. Try and keep it straight. Don't be wonky like me. Sitting that down. Sitting that down. Following those along. Give it a little bit of time again because they're, so you can see where that started to ooze out. That's why I always like to check it. And that's why I'll also put my ruler on the inside and just double check that nothing has actually gone down there. That's looking pretty good. I'm sitting my ruler in there while I just push down on that. There we go. So I hope you like them. So two little envelopes. A large one, which I've already lost. There it is. That luckily had the other piece in there. How easy are they to make? Really. You can just do so much with them. This one, look, it may end up, just move all these. The little one may end up as one of those because it is, yeah, so it looks very nice. But it is still small enough that it will fit into a pocket in there. So whether that one ends up into a pocket or as part of a signature, so this still needs so many pages put in it, it's not funny. So that's that one, that's that one. And then you think you've got that one. So, you know, we're going along. I loved all those pages out of this sewing book. So they'll all have lots of things on them. Yeah, see, that's still pretty enough and large enough. When I open it out, it's got this on the other side, or I could still, I think actually this one's going to go as a pocket. So I'm waffling now because I like that one. Hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've crafted along with me. Let me know if you're doing a sewing journal as well. And yes, as I said before, I will pop these ones up as a freebie on my Ko-fi or in my Ko-fi shop so that you can cut those ones out as well. I will be using those as I go. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. And it's been fun. Thanks all. Bye.